The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88-85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in a scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Well, you're looking at traits. And remember when he tested very, very well.
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluation so up?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate.
Former Bears scouting director Greg Gabriel talks football live every week on the Barroom Network. Also available on demand.
Look, I think it's a good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. There's a lot to be excited about. But let me tell you something. We are past the point of excuses. If things go sour, you have used up all of the patience that Chicago has to offer.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other Bears fans out there. What's going on, fellas? I know there's a national championship that just kicked off. We probably got a lot of Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans in our chat. I myself was also pulling for the Fighting Irish tonight. But we had a little bit of Bears breaking news today. They went out and they hired Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, to be their next head coach. And I'm really excited. So I shot a message to the guys and was like, fellas, we got to do an emergency pod. Are y'all free? Can y'all come on? And my man Tooth and KB, they answered the bell. First and foremost, KB, because I already told you what I was doing when the news broke, and I happened to see the message from you first. Give me your thoughts, and we'll get into some of this other stuff and talk to the chat. You're muted, I think.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There it is.
Oh, brother, man. My thoughts? A whole bunch of people was wrong because I thought he was supposed to end up in LA playing, you know what I'm saying, coaching the Raiders. So, hey, man.
Hand to the sky. I was already – and you know me, I was in the group chat because I was already kind of talking myself into being okay with Mike McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Ben Johnson was my number one choice, but I was like, Mike McCarthy's been there, done that. His playoff record isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. We're biased Bears fans, this and that. But this was my number one choice, was Ben Johnson. Sure. And every time I watched that Lions offense, I just got wet dreams about Ben Johnson. Now, we do have some people in the chat that Travis is going to hold off from blowing his load. So he's edging himself over here. I did see someone said Matt Nagy's return. Ralph, I'll just say, When we hired Matt Nagy, he had one game, half a game maybe, calling plays, and Ben Johnson has called plays for 3 years.
Yeah. I was gonna say Nagy was running somebody else's offense for the entirety of him being there and his tenure being here. This is somebody who has his offense and is running his style of ball.
Yeah. But go ahead, KB. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh man, no, I mean, bro, like I said, my assignment was over the hill. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy we all wanted. You know, if it wasn't Ben Johnson, then we would have went from there. But you got the head coach to pair with the quarterback now. We're gonna see where that goes. You already hearing talks of Dennis Allen possibly being a DC. That's a hell of a pickup for a DC, man. And then you also have that knowledge of somebody who's been a head coach for a few years. Mm-hmm. So I like what I'm hearing. Like I said, I'm glad that we got our shots in because, like I said, hey, y'all talking about a guy who was supposed to be over there coaching for a team with no quarterback. The roster is ass in a division with 3 talented teams, and y'all thought that man was gonna put his coaching stake on that? Nah, not at all.
Yeah. I don't know if Dog was talking about his head coach with Ron Rivera. I love Ron Rivera, but I didn't. If we'd have brought him in as DC, then I'd have been cool with that. Yeah. But I don't know about head coach. I mean, he did fine with Cam Newton early in his career, but other than that, we didn't really see a whole lot. You really want to pair, like you said, KB. You really want to pair the offensive mind with your quarterback. So, like if we brought in a Rivera, then whoever he brings in as OC could very easily be hired off in a year or two, and then you're back at square one learning. Whereas, and Caleb said this on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast that he wanted an offensive mind, someone he'd like to grow with for the next 10 to 15. He said 17 years, and I'm like, all right, bro. I mean, if that's so obviously he kind of got the guy that he can do that with. I mean, Ben Johnson's 38 years old. Ryan Poles is 38 years old. These are, Tooch, I know you're not a Ryan Poles guy, but if this works out, it's a young core of guys that they can grow with. But Tooch, give me your thoughts overall on the Ben Johnson hire and anything else.
Yeah, I mean, we got an offensive mind. Of course, I'm always going to be like, we still have Ryan Poles drafting for us, which is a net negative, as seen in the past 3 years. I mean, the guy got us Caleb Williams. I mean, he'll always be remembered for that. But I mean, it was a no-brainer. You know, he picked a good quarterback. I like Caleb Williams quite a bit. Other than that, you know, his drafts have been underwhelming. You know, you can name the players that are good on one, maybe 2 hands. You know, and it has to be better. You know, if we want to win in this division, we have to draft a hell of a lot better. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
As far as I agree with Jaquan Brisker, because for the past decade, maybe longer, we've had this defensive coaches, and then the offensive coordinator leaves once they start winning. You know, so we've had revolving doors of offensive coordinator. Now we've got the offensive coordinator as our head coach. We don't have to worry about losing. You know, but I mean, the back of my head says this guy's a first-time coach. You know, we don't know how he's going to be.
Yeah, but
you know,
then you look in our division; they're all first-time head coaches. You look at, well, I guess with the playoffs, let's see, Dan Quinn. This is his second time, and he's doing what he's doing. But
going to the NFC Championship,
right? The Eagles head coach is a first-time head coach.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a crapshoot, really. It is, but
I wanted either him or Mike McCarthy. I would have been happy with Ben Johnson, Mike McCarthy. The Raiders made a bid for Ben Johnson by interviewing the GM that he wanted, Lance Newmark, who worked with Johnson in Detroit, was assistant GM of the Commanders right now. Of course, there's no income tax in Las Vegas or in Nevada. So, I mean, say what you want, but I mean, that's an extra $1 million a year, maybe, you know? It's like, depending on what his salary is going to be, you know?
I mean, especially compared to Chicago. Texas.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Poles and Kevin Warren got it done. So kudos to them. What I'm glad is that there's no Trace Armstrong whispering, in the back.
Oh Lord, the
Well,
Armstrong thing is hilarious.
I gotta say about this, I know it's getting a lot of
Sabotaging.
traction. I was listening to Greg before we came on, and he talked. He had a lot of thoughts, but he
Yeah, I didn't
talks
listen to
about
it.
that in particular. Like in Kansas City, he said they've all got the same agent except for Nagy. It happens throughout the league. You just don't
good
hear
old boy.
about it.
Good old boy network.
Yep.
Right. You just don't hear
'Cause
about it because if it's working, it's working. All right, Chris Foster. That's what I'm talking about. Ben Johnson, my man is fired up.
I mean, look, as far as the Trace Armstrong thing, the George McCaskey and before him, his brother before him, they're not football guys. You could easily see someone like Trace Armstrong, ring him up. Hey, George, I used to rush the passer there. I got a couple coaches you might be interested in. These guys are good coaches. Just like anyhow, Trace Armstrong was an affable guy when he was here. And the organization was fond of him. So I mean that kind of shit that goes on. It's like the McCaskies not being football people. They're easily taken in by whoever trying to make a buck. By selling off their clients. Or pumping their clients. But if the McCaskies needed a employment search firm to find coaches, to find GMs.
I do gotta say though, I know Poles doesn't have the greatest track record of drafting. He does have to hit free agency if guys.
He was a Trace Armstrong guy too,
right? If guys hit the free agent market and the draft, we need to definitely attack it. I know Greg said that he didn't think there was a top 10 tackle in this draft. I disagree with that, but that just depends on what our scouting department says. But the first thing I thought of when they hired Ben Johnson was, do you guys remember when they drafted Darnell Wright? He did his strength and conditioning drill as a wide receiver. Didn't even realize that he was doing the wide receiver one, and they said he knocked it out of the park. So if Ben Johnson can use Penei Sewell out in routes and doing things like that, imagine what
I see where you're going with this.
Exactly. A little athleticism.
We didn't need to draft Rome Odunze last year. He's sitting there right on the roster.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we have a head coach now that uses that thinks outside of the box a little. Does things in a non-traditional way, like the stumble pass that he did with Chicago here. He tried to do an end around to Penei Sewell and let him throw it. We blew it up, but he's not scared to take chances, and we're going to see that as well as if it's fourth and short, if it's fourth and less than 5. I don't care where we're at on the field. I feel like this guy's going to go for it. I feel like he's going to partake a lot of what Dan Campbell gave him. And that's another thing. Not only do we, in my opinion, get better at the head coaching position, but
we did get better. Better than this guy?
Yeah, better than that guy. But it hurts a division rival as well. They're losing their offensive coordinator. Rumor is Aaron Glenn will either be in New York or New Orleans, so they will probably lose that as well. And
wasn't he a former Jets player, Aaron Glenn?
He played for both of those franchises. Yeah. So that's that guy will be gone. And they'll be having a reset.
Eberflus interviewed for the Falcons defensive coordinator job.
He also interviewed for the Bengals one. I saw it, and
wow, really? Lou Anarumo was a good defensive coordinator.
They got rid of him. He was awful this year. Awful. He had Trey Hendrickson. That was about it. Basically,
they didn't have talent,
Well, the biggest thing is the Bengals have and I've said this before on my other podcast, is they have the smallest scouting department in the NFL. So they don't have a big scouting department. So when they let guys leave during free agency, they're trying to fill back those holes, and they just don't have invest in that.
The Bears at one point used to have a really small scouting department as far as like other NFL teams that were in the smaller side as well.
Yeah. Well, Chris Foster's already got his draft plan in place. Take a left tackle in the late teens. With 3 seconds, take Watts from Notre Dame. I believe he's a safety. And D-line center. I like the Texas center, but I don't know if I'd take him in the second. I think his name's Majors.
Jake Majors.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like him, but I don't know if I'd take him in the second.
It's really not that great of a draft for offensive linemen. So I think if Ryan Poles wants to rebuild this offensive line fast, he's got to do it in free agency. There's just no other way. You can't. Ben Johnson's coming here. He definitely is not expecting a Lions caliber offensive line. And the best way for Poles to turn it around fast is to use that cap space and Trey Smith, Chris. Yep, grab someone like that. Left tackle in the draft, about the best ones at Texas. Left tackle.
I like Will Campbell better than Kelvin Banks, but they've said that, and Greg said it earlier. There's questions about his arm length. We'll have to wait until the combine comes out to get real length. And Will Campbell,
I love Will Campbell's personality.
Maybe it's the good old Southern boy in me, but when I listen to that guy talk about just mauling dudes,
seems like a smart kid too.
No, I'm saying, didn't we hear that same thing about the boy that went to the Chargers, the left tackle they ended up getting? What's his name?
No, they used to say it about the guy that went to the Titans. Came out of Northwestern.
Skoronski.
Oh, Skoronski. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he is playing guard
Slater.
Yes, playing guards. Yep. Yeah, there's people who think
they did say
Campbell and
something
Banks
about
would be
Slater,
guards.
actually.
Guards as well.
I was going to say, I could have swore they said the same thing about Slater as well, having
I wouldn't mind the Ohio State kid that got injured. He was dominant.
Josh Simmons.
Dominant before his injury.
Yeah, but injury, maybe you can, and Greg said something about that too. I'm sorry to kind of recap that show, but he said, look what happened with Karan Amagaji. We draft that guy and people lose their minds. So what's going to happen? Are they going to be? Are they
talking about Big Ten versus Ivy League?
Yeah, but he's talking about taking a chance on a guy who's got injury history and stuff like that.
What you're saying. Yep.
Yeah. So
one of the best corners in the league was also injured and is playing on our team.
That's true. Yeah.
You can say what you want about injury history. You got kids who are perfectly healthy that come to the league and end up being on fucking medical lists for the entire career. None of that matters to me unless it's something that's going to be a long lasting injury. But the league is a whole different ball game.
Right. Look at Brisker. He was, I don't think, had any injury history coming in, and he was out for most of this year with that concussion. We'll see what happens going into next year. And I believe his contract, is he in the final year of his contract, or was last year his final year?
No,
so he'll be in his contract year. He'll be putting in work. I did want to touch on Dennis Allen, former defensive coordinator, I believe
was
in
he
Oakland.
Bounty Gate too?
No, that was Greg Williams.
No. Greg Williams.
He was
Saints,
in
right. Saints defensive coordinator. Another Saints defensive coordinator though.
Right. Dennis Allen was in Oakland. He was given a chance to head coach there. Failed, as most people do in Oakland. Then went to New Orleans, and I believe was with Sean Payton after Greg Williams. And then when Sean Payton
Williams
retired,
was
he kind of took over that spot
Yep.
as their head coach. He's not a head coach. He's kind of like Eberflus. Like, I know we're going to give Eberflus a lot of shit, but I even said that if he goes to a place like Cincinnati where he doesn't have to be the head guy, he doesn't have to talk to anybody because the guy never learned how to talk to the media. And Chicago will eat you alive if you don't know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like I like Dennis Allen. He has a little more aggressiveness to his defense, even though it is a 4-3 base. You know, Cam Jordan comes to mind, the big defensive end. Montez Sweat will step into that role. I think he runs a lot of man-to-man coverages, so
That's what's being
Jalen
said.
Johnson will love that, I think.
I was gonna say that to me the big thing on that is you're not worrying about somebody poaching him, because
Right.
I don't think he's getting another gig as a head coach, man. I think where he's at now is he's going to be a coordinator for life there. So I mean that to me that's big. You're not worried about losing your defensive coordinator.
Yeah, we got. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff here in the chat. Everyone talking O-line, talking draft. But yeah, I'm excited that we got the guy that he was my number one choice for.
Arguably the best, hottest young offensive mind, offensive coach on the market, and the Bears did the job and got him. So kudos there.
And I'm wondering if, because remember last year he was in the hiring process and he pulled his name. I'm wondering if he was hearing rumor, because we had heard rumor that Eberflus may be gone, and then all of a sudden he was retained. Maybe he's been eyeing this job as well. I mean, maybe he spoke fondly of Caleb Williams in their press conferences when they asked him about it. I mean, he's not going to dog the kid, I guess, but yeah, I mean,
he went to a team that has a quarterback.
Yeah. And that was like KB broke it down. If he'd have went to Vegas, he's starting all over. He doesn't have a quarterback, and he's in the division with Patrick Mahomes.
He was trading for Hendon Hooker, man. You ain't hear the rumor? He was going to go to Vegas, and he was going to bring Hendon Hooker as his starter, because that makes sense.
Yeah, and Trapper Keeper, I see you asking about the O-line coach. I don't know. I hadn't heard. I'm not on X right now. Actually, my phone's on the national championship, trying to keep a side eye on it a little bit. But I'm not sure who they'll go with. But if it's Chris Morgan coming back, I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, Adam Schefter has Darren Rizzi as special teams coach, also the Saints. Interim head coach.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
I was gonna say, man, they said star study, baby.
He was their interim head coach in New Orleans this year and took over and clogged the toilet and won his first game as interim head coach.
Because that's how you're supposed to do it, baby.
Yeah. Sounds like he's putting something together. I wonder about OC. I know who's the wide receiver that they have over there? Antoine Randall. Is he in their and you got to wonder how many people Dan Campbell will allow, because remember this happened with Nagy.
Yeah,
Andy Reid was like, "You go ahead, but you ain't taking nobody with your ass." Right. So he was kind of stuck in here, trying to build something. They want to poach Hank Fraley. Is that the O-line coach from Detroit? Yep, Robbie. Good follow up there. Says the O-line coach. So if that's your OC, and he can double as your O-line coach, and obviously you've got a great offensive line in Detroit. That's how that team was built. And I'm wondering if they'll give him any say in the draft room, like, hey, we've been watching this guy or this guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it all works. Usually that's a GM type deal.
I was gonna say to answer Robbie's question, they can't block the signing, but Detroit also gets first dibs. So if Detroit says they'll promote him to OC, then we have to wait.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So D. Levine, I read somewhere Johnson wants to bring Farley over from the Lions. He was the line coach, promote him as OC. Randall L. probably gets a
promotion.
Promotion.
I was like, what are we talking about?
That's what that is.
His pronouns are he, him, I think. Right?
His pronoun is OC.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, with Ben Johnson, he's worked with I just wonder if the pocket quarterback versus backyard scrambler is going to present, any kind. If Ben Johnson or whoever is trying to fit Caleb into a round square peg and a round hole, you got to let Caleb improvise some, because that's what escaping the pocket is where he's the best at, avoiding the sack. I just wonder, they tried to do that with Justin Fields, teach him to stay in the pocket and whatnot, But
I feel like even though we didn't, because Jared Goff didn't take, I don't remember him missing a whole lot of games to where he had to adjust his.
But definitely a pocket passer.
Right, but I'm saying if he had to make adjustments on the fly to a different style of offense, and I think Caleb would rather play from inside the pocket. Yeah. The big thing for me is we're going to run the ball. We're not going to abandon the run. I mean, in Detroit you had Sonic and Knuckles. No, we don't have Knuckles, or we do have Knuckles, but he's got concussion history, so I don't know if that's very good. But I like the idea.
The good news: this draft is deep with running backs.
Absolutely,
ton of good talent in running back.
Alex Scatoo is, and I mean, hell, there's 3 of them in the national championship tonight.
I'd take Ollie Gordon. I don't know if you know him.
Yep, Oklahoma State. He was supposed to be the number 1 running back in his class.
Yeah, he's a great receiver out of the backfield too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Caleb's hanging out with Ashton Genty right now, so I just saw a picture of them.
Isn't he kind of like a better version of DeAndre Swift? Similar. I know Swift is small, but DeJounte isn't that big. I mean, Jonte's like 5'9".
Sanders says we have tails.
5'9", 210 for Jonte.
I think Genty is
he's not Knuckles.
Cowboy. We gotta build the trenches, man. I'd love to take a pick on Genty because I think he's an excellent talent, but he's the cherry on top talent. It's like taking a punter in the 4th round.
I was gonna say you wait till.
I'd love to see Ollie Gordon in the 3rd or 4th round.
I was gonna say you wait to the 3rd and you see if Quishon Judkins is around or the what's the other running back from OSU? Henderson,
Travion Henderson.
You wait to see one of them around. You got Ollie Gordon, of course. I don't know if this kid Love. Man. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if the kid Love from Notre Dame is gonna come out this year or not. I don't know what
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what year he is.
Eligible? I thought he was.
Yeah, I don't know what year he is or not. If he's eligible, I mean that's another solid, pickup you can get. But running back is packed this year.
Yeah.
But Ollie Gordon's
you got my boy Scatterboo. You can grab him in the 5th round to pair with with Swift because he got paid. He ain't going nowhere. Swift.
Scatterboo's like the Brock Bowers.
Oh yeah, Iowa's running back Johnson too.
Yep.
Tooch loves him. He used to text me about
Caleb
every
Johnson
weekend.
is great, man. He's got some size too.
Hey, Irish just scored. Go Irish! Yep, 6-0.
Man,
so they
they've done nothing but run the ball down Ohio State.
Look,
Riley Leonard,
Texas, like last week when they played, they was at the 1 yard line. They tried to go around the edge. I was like, well, the Irish ain't gonna do that. They'll line up and hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Riley Leonard, anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
There you go.
One of my picks for one of my plays today.
Making some money tonight.
There you go.
I didn't want to keep everybody too long. We've kind of went into draft talk. We'll obviously continue to assess the situation.
Either way, the Bears are going to be better than last year. The year before. Matt Eberflus is gone. The culture sucked. The players had gotten used to losing. Look, we had the players on this roster had to endure. A lot of them had to endure the tank season, and that's just like, imagine you're getting your ass kicked, for 3-win season, whatever. We drafted number 1 overall 2 years in a row. It became a culture of losing where people expected to lose. We have to turn that around and get that out. And then, they had to fire Eberflus. They should have probably fired Poles, but we're stuck with him. So let's build the culture into a winning philosophy. So we could start catching on. Man, I don't think
not only
that good.
Not only Poles. We still have Ian Cunningham for now. So, but he's a guy who was getting interviews in Tennessee and whatnot, and I like having him around because if it wasn't for him, we would have probably traded up for Roman Dunze last year, and
Yeah.
might have been missing the first this year, or one of those seconds. So
I was gonna say it's a slight rumor going around that apparently one of Ben Johnson's big deal breakers was if he gets this job that certain people in the front office don't have as much say
Yeah,
in what's being said.
that'll be interesting, KB. If Johnson, one of his conditions of coming here was that he has say over the final roster,
Yeah.
That would be something I'd be happier about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll put this whole draft thing into perspective and see what the hell is gonna go on, man, and who's gonna be getting signed and who won't be getting signed. So
yeah,
we shall see, man.
Massive misjudgment of the talent of our offensive line was just killed the season. You
Well,
bring in a rookie quarterback, you needed to really go hard on the offensive line.
Yeah, they seem to, and I think a lot of this is Poles' downfall, where he falls in love with a guy, he drafts him,
Yep.
then it takes him a long time to really give up on him. I mean, look at Braxton Jones; he's been given all these chances to be the left tackle. We saw it with Valus. We'll probably see it with Roshan Johnson at this point. Maybe something to watch to see if he learns from those, because it feels like the Bears. And I know they interviewed freaking everybody, and everyone was like, "Why are you talking to all these people?" Well, we couldn't make
get
the
you
hire until our guy was gone. And Bears fans get antsy if they don't get news too quick. So yeah, I think it was always Ben Johnson. I think he they probably talked to him. I don't think it'll ever come out because it'd probably be called tampering, but they probably talked to him through the season, and then when they did their Zoom meeting, it was all but locked up from right there.
Do you think Mike McCarthy gets a spot this year?
New Orleans seems to like him. I think he should get a spot somewhere. If he doesn't, then I don't know if I see him doing like the booth stuff. I don't know.
No.
He might. I mean, he took a year off after the Packers gig. It would be exhausting to work for Jerry Jones. I know we give George a lot of shit, but the way Jerry Jones runs that business, I mean, he's making money. I guess I can't fault him too much, but the things that he has going on in his organization is just. It would be exhausting. You're on edge constantly. They let his whole contract run out. Didn't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Mike
Great
McCarthy, and just like Mike said at the end, I'm a winner. I've won a championship. I deserve a little bit of damn respect. But I think I'm wondering because I know Coach Prime was kind of his name was floated out there for the Cowboys job. I don't know.
I don't think he's leaving.
You don't think so, KB?
Nah. And the only reason why I'm saying that, man, because the one thing I feel like he has stuck by is him saying that he's a builder of kids. You know what I'm saying? Like he has more invested in trying to build up kids to be men, and then instead of taking over men. So I don't think he'll leave Boulder because of that.
Yeah, I've heard him say that before, and then he kind of talked about the players making more money than you as the head coach. Like, what are you gonna tell him when he's got a bigger paycheck than you? They're not gonna listen if they don't have love for the game. They don't. I don't have a whole lot more, but KB, have you talked to Big Cuz? I heard an update from Ryan Poles saying that he had recovered and was putting back on strength, which is shocking to no one. I know he's got the Walter Payton Man of the Year thing coming up, and obviously we're pulling for Big Cuz on that one. Our hearts go out to Big 97. He's got a big heart and some big muscles. But how's Big Cuz doing, man?
Man, last I talked to him, he was doing good, man. He's in higher spirits. They got a little joy thing going on right now. We're gonna leave for behind the scenes. But other than that, man, he's doing good, man. I'm gonna reach back out to him because I haven't spoke to him in a little bit after I checked up on him.
He's got a new head coach now.
Hey, man, he's got a new head coach, so I know he's gonna be excited about that because I know some things. I searched the feelings when certain things was being said, and I was like, okay, I know how you
Yeah.
feel about this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we'll get an update on that, man. And we'll also see how much information will be leaked about other things too. But we'll keep that we'll keep other things under wraps.
Yeah, I know a lot of other players on the Bears. They got loose lips, but Big Cuz he's a vet, man. He don't let too much slip out
At all. At all. Tragic.
But we definitely love it. We definitely love that big dude for sure. But I mean, unless y'all got something else, we'll just get on out of here. We'll try to watch this national championship, see if the Irish can win this one, or if you're a Buckeyes fan, I can't even say it. I'm gonna say go Irish, but
I don't know how I feel. I'm not a Notre Dame fan. The fans out here are ridiculous.
You got to pull for the Irish, man. They ain't won the title since '88,
and I'm 10 minutes away from the stadium, bro. So
and it's different. Like even people who weren't Irish fans, like I didn't grow up an Irish fan. I'm in the South. I'm an SEC guy, you know.
Right.
But the way Marcus Freeman has turned that program around and almost humbled it, they almost needed to be humbled by the Marshalls, the NIUs, to be, in my opinion, more of a liked. Like it's not just the big brand anymore. And obviously, you get Kelly out of there, who goes down to LSU with his family so he can win championships, and here Notre Dame is in the title game.
Right.
But
is Don Burr in the chat room?
I'm pretty sure
I know he was in earlier, and
Okay.
Aldo had banned him because he was talking crazy. He might be in there under an
He
alias.
He might be Derek Bazemore. There's apparently now Ben Johnson is ass, but you know he's the one that was calling offensive plays guy. So
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was a big upset, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sunday.
even your players know how much of a force multiplier, a good word, that he was. That your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown was like, hell, I'm gonna tell him. I'll tell you everything. Caleb Williams is trash. They trash. You don't want to go over there. So your players wanted to keep him in the building.
Yeah,
I would believe them more than believing you.
Yeah.
Was he were you on the field playing?
It'd be nice to see if they can use DJ Moore in that Amon-Ra mold. You know, they both catch the ball and can break tackles after the catch and stuff. They don't do. I think Jamison Williams is a free agent, isn't he? Maybe he wants to come play for Ben. I don't know if we want that headache. We'll see. He's been in a lot of trouble off the field, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
We do need some speedster to take the top off the defense. You know, just to.
Yeah. Well, I think Rome can do it. They just didn't use him worth of crap last year. But we'll see how it goes. But until then, like, comment, subscribe to the Barroom Network, and hit the notification bell to tell you when we go live. GTF went earlier, and I had to do it.
I missed it all. What did Greg say about the?
Well, he kind of took a victory lap because everyone was saying about the Trace Armstrong thing, and then everybody was saying he was going to Vegas, and obviously he doesn't go to Vegas. He comes in here, so Greg took a victory lap on that, and then I
mean, after poisoning the well for so long, you'd think they'd be like, Trace, we don't need any more of your guys, but I don't know. I don't know if the front office is that smart.
Well, this dude's not a Trace Armstrong guy. He's
it's great.
His agent is a guy from Northwestern. I saw it on X this week.
Jimmy Lee, was that the name or something?
I can't remember. But
something. I forget who his agent is, but
yeah,
it's not Trace Armstrong, thankfully.
Yeah, but we'll get out of here and then
he likes the hire though, right, Gabriel?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Okay. He did like it. I'm gonna definitely be listening to 670 The Score in the morning. I know, honestly, and like I said, we were talking earlier about Mike McCarthy. Dan Bernstein was totally anti Mike McCarthy. He said he thinks he's dumb, and I was like, I kind of if we can't get Ben, I hope we get McCarthy just so I can hear Dan Bernstein sound like a freaking idiot on the radio.
He is the worst.
He seems like he hates everything.
I can't listen to him. I the only good is Mully and
I like his
Haw, right?
co-hosts. I love Layla Rahimi when she's on
Okay.
there. I loved Lawrence Holmes when he was on. Now they got a guy named some Marshall Harris, and he's good. Came from Philly, but yeah, Dan just seems like he hates life. I don't.
Yeah.
Dude, you got a fantastic job, a great career, a wonderful family. Like, what do you got
Yeah.
to?
He's miserable.
What do you got to be so mad about?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get out of here, but stay on, you guys. I want to talk to you guys.